Good morning everyone. Welcome to my channel. Up to now, I think we have seen or we have understood how to find the inductance of a two-wire line. But in practical situations, we have different configuration of lines that may exist like three-phase double circuit line, three-phase bundle conductor line, three-phase unsymmetrical line like this. In order to find the inductance of all these configurations, we need to know or we need to have the knowledge of the flux linkage on one conductor in a group of conductors or in a group of lines. We can call like this, right? So, I want to discuss today the topic. The title of the topic is flux linkage on one conductor in a group of lines or conductors. So here I am considering in a region there are different conductors. These are the different conductors that are available in the space, and let me give the name for these conductors. This is the first conductor, second, third, and so on. This is the nth conductor. Like that, there are n conductors or n lines that are available in space, and P is nothing but a distant point from all these conductors. Now I am giving just the names for the distances from the conductors to the point P, right? These are the distances. Let us give the names for that. The distance from the conductor 1 to the point P is given by D1P, and this distance is D2P, D3P. Like that, it is DNP, which is the distance from the nth conductor to the point P. What I am interested here is to find the flux linkage on any one of the conductor, and this flux is considered up to the region P. In order to provide the boundary for the external flux linkages, I am considering the point P as a distant point up to which we are interested to find the flux linkages, right? Because we cannot find the flux linkages to infinite distance. So that is the reason why first I am setting a boundary, then I will remove this boundary. So P is a distant point up to which we are considering the external flux linkages. Now my intention here is to find the flux linkage on the conductor 1. Now as all these are the conductors, I am assuming I1, I2, I3 and so on In, all these as the currents flowing through the conductor 1, 2, 3 and so on N respectively. These are the currents flowing through all the conductors that are available in the region. And the relation between the currents, which I am assuming as the sum of all the currents, must be equal to 0. The phasor currents or the algebraic sum or the phasor sum of all the currents must be equal to 0. This is the assumption that I am taking. Now what I am trying to find is the flux linkage on the first conductor. Let me let me divide the problem into different stages, and adding all the stages we will get the total flux linkage. Now lambda 1 P1 I am giving a name. For lambda 1 P1 is nothing but flux linkage or flux linking the conductor 1 due to the current I1, means the flux linking the first conductor due to the current flowing through the same conductor. This is nothing but lambda 1 P1, as we have determined already in our previous videos. So I request all of you to go through the previous videos before seeing this video, because you miss a link between different topics. This is the third video which I am making on electric power transmission, right? Now lambda 1 P1 is nothing but the flux linking the conductor 1 due to I1. Now I am considering this flux as the summation of internal flux as well as external flux, but the external flux is considered up to the point P. That is the reason why I kept a distant point P, or I kept a boundary. I cannot find beyond that, right? So lambda 1 P1 is nothing but now flux linking the conductor 1 due to the same current, due to the current flowing through the same conductor up to the point P. Now it is the summation of two fluxes. One is the internal flux linkage and external flux linkage. As we have determined the internal flux linkage in the first video, which can be given by half times the current into 10 power minus 7, and the external flux linkage can be given by 2 times 10 power minus 7 I1 ln of d1p by r1. Why I have taken this? d1p is nothing but the limit for external flux up to the point P, and the another limit is the surface of the conductor up to the radius r1. Now by combining these two, what I can get is d1p by r1 dash. As we have seen in our previous video, in the second video, we can obtain r1 dash as 0.7788 times r1, right? So this is the flux linking the conductor 1 due to I1. Now I am just writing the expression simply. So 2 times 10 power minus 7 I1 ln of d1p by r1 dash. d1p is nothing but the distance of the first conductor up to the point P. This is Weber turns per meter. Now after finding the flux linking the conductor 1 due to I1, now I want to find lambda 1 P2. What is meant by lambda 1 P2? It is nothing but the flux linking the conductor 1, because I am interested to find the total flux linking the first conductor only due to all the currents. So lambda 1 P2 is nothing but flux linking the conductor 1 due to the current I2. It is the second flux, because when there are group of conductors and when there is a flow of current through each and every conductor, the flux linking a particular conductor is nothing but the sum of all the fluxes produced by the remaining conductors, right? Now what are the limiting distances for this second flux linkage? One is d2p and another one is d12. See, the distance between the second conductor and first conductor is this one, and the distance from the second conductor to the point P is this one. So d2p and d12. d12 is nothing but distance between first and second conductors. These are the limiting distances in order to find the flux linking the first conductor due to the current flowing through the second conductor I2. Now how can I write this? All these are external flux linkages to the second conductor, right? So that is the reason why I can write this as 2 times 10 power minus 7 I2 into ln of d2p by d21 or d12. You can write as it is. Similarly, how can I find the flux linking the first conductor due to I3? What is lambda 1 P3? It can be given by 2 times 10 power minus 7 I3 into ln of d3p. What are the limiting distances now? 3 to p is one distance and 3 to 1 is another distance. We need to consider the flux in between the points 3 to p to 1. These are the limiting distances. Now consider this as the first equation, second equation, and this as the third equation, because all these are the flux linkages to the conductor 1 due to all the currents, which are I1, I2 and I3. Like that, you can find the expressions up to the nth current, which is IN, and finding all these expressions and adding together, you will get lambda 1p as lambda 1 p1 plus lambda 1 p2 plus lambda 1 p3 and so on, lambda 1 pn. Right? We are finding the flux linking the first conductor, and this flux ranging up to the point P. So what is meant by lambda 1p? It is nothing but the total flux linking the first conductor. What we need to understand, it is nothing but the total flux linking the conductor 1 due to all currents including I1, I2, I3 and so on, In. Each current will produce a flux, and this flux link with the first conductor. This is called as the total flux linkage with the first conductor. Now how can I write this? It can be written as 2 times 10 power minus 7 ln of I1 into ln of d1p by r1 dash. Means I am adding first, second and third equations in the previous page, which we have written these equations, right? So d2p by d12 plus and so on. For nth current, it is 2 times 10 power minus 7 In into ln of, what is the distance from n to p? dnp. What is the distance from 1 to n? d1n. So this is the total flux linkage with the conductor 1, which existing means which is oriented up to the point P, right? Now let me do some mathematics in order to get a simplified expression and a generalized expression which will be practically applicable. Let us do some mathematics here. So I am taking 2 into 10 power minus 7 as common. So I1 into ln of r1 dash. Just I am writing the denominators separately by using the technique ln of ab can be written as ln of a plus b. So I am first writing the denominator terms separately. So ln of 1 by r1 dash, ln of 1 by d12, ln of 1 by d1n. Then I am now writing the numerators separately. Now I can write it as I1 into ln of d1p plus I2 into ln of d2p. I am just splitting the above equation into two parts, the numerators in one side and the denominators in another side, because the product of two terms inside the natural logarithm can be written as the summation of two natural logarithms. By using this technique, I am dividing this into two parts, right? Now we need to use the condition that which we have assumed at the initial stage, that sum of all the currents must be equal to 0. This is the practical situation which you can observe in a three-phase system, where the phasor sum of all the currents is equal to 0 in a balanced three-phase system. So I am considering the same fact here, but I am considering that there are n conductors, right? So from this I can write In as equal to minus sum of I1 to In minus 1. Okay, now substituting the second equation in first equation. So I am poor in mentioning the equations, just follow the procedure, that's it. Now in place of In, I am substituting I1 plus I2 plus I3 and so on, In minus 1 times ln of, see here in place of In I am substituting this. If you consider the first equation, you can understand this, into dnp, right? Now how can I write this in a simple way? So lambda 1p, which is nothing but the flux linkage with the conductor 1 due to all the currents. So the first terms I am writing as it is, the first terms up to nth term, I am writing as it is. So I1 ln of 1 by r1 dash plus I2 ln of 1 by d12 plus In ln of 1 by d1n. Up to this I am repeating. Now consider here we have plus I1 times ln of this, and here we have minus I1 ln of this. So I can combining these two, I can write this as in the fraction. I can write this in terms of fraction as ln of d1p in the denominator and dnp in the d1p in the numerator and dnp in the denominator. Similarly for I2, you have positive term, you have negative term. You have in minus 1, you have positive term and you have negative term. Positive term will come to the numerator and negative term will come to the denominator, right? So this is the expression. Now I want to remove this boundary. If I want to remove this boundary, what I need to do? I need to move the point P far away, very far away from all these conductors, right? So if the point is moved to infinite distance, if the point is moved to a very, very, very far distance from all these from this group of conductors, if the point is moved away very much far, then the distances d1p, d2p, d3p and so on, dnp, all these distances remains same. Because when a far point, when you see a group of conductors from a very far distance, all must be in the same place, all looks in the same place. So this ratio and this ratio and this ratio will be almost equal to 1. The term which is inside natural logarithm, if it is 1, it finally it is 0. So ln of 1 is always 0. That's why the terms, means the second half of the terms becomes 0. Now let me analyze this equation in order to understand it and apply it everywhere. Because if you understand how we wrote this expression, now lambda 1p can be directly taken as lambda 1, which is the total flux linking the first conductor due to all the currents. Now if you analyze this equation, if you understand this equation, how to write this equation, then only you can find the inductance for the remaining configurations, like 3-phase horizontal, 3-phase vertical, 3-phase double circuit, 3-phase bundle conductors, all these. So let me analyze this equation. It is very, very important to understand this equation, right? If you observe the flux linkage here, the total flux linkage, what is this equation giving? This equation gives us basically the flux linking the first conductor in a group of n conductors. There are n conductors, and in that n conductors, if there is a flow of current, what is the total flux linking the first conductor? Now in the first term we have observed r1 dash, so it is 0.7788 r1. It is nothing but the self GMD or GMR. GMR means geometric mean radius. We will study about this in the further classes. As of understand this as the distance from first conductor to first conductor, right? Now what is d12? D12 is nothing but the distance from second conductor to first conductor. In the third term I am observing d13. What is d13? Actually d13 is nothing but distance from third to 1. Similarly d1n. What is d1n? It is the distance from nth conductor to first conductor. Nth conductor to first conductor. So distance from n to 1. N to 1. Right? Let me erase this. Distance from nth conductor to first conductor. Observe all these distances which are inside the logarithm, inside the natural logarithm, are the distances from the remaining all conductors to the first conductor, and at each and every term you have the currents. So in this way you can find the flux linking or flux linkage on conductor 1, flux linking the conductor 1 due to all the conductors including I1. But When I write I1, I need to consider the distance from first to first. When I write I2, I need to consider the distance from 2 to 1, next from 3 to 1, next from n to 1. Like that you can obtain the expressions of flux linkage, right? So this expression is very, very important because it forms the basis in order to find the inductance of a group of conductors. When there are 3 conductors, when there are 6 conductors, like when there are bundle conductors, in all these situations, right? So thank you very much for listening. Please share and subscribe to my channel. Thanks.